Hey, happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to another Chamber Check-in episode from your only five-star accredited chamber in the state of Idaho. Today, we get to learn about the Ideal College Savings Program with newly appointed Executive Director, Marilyn Whitney. Hi, Marilyn.
Hello.
And we also have Field Representative Nick Theros. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Paul. Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. You know, this is a great opportunity to learn about what Ideal does and how it prepares that next generation of leader for the future. And I have three school-age children that want to go to college and get educated, and this is a great opportunity to learn how Ideal helps with that. But Marilyn and Nick, this Chamber Check-in series has been a great way to learn about our chamber members. We started it a couple of years ago when the epidemic came in and we couldn't engage with our members anymore. We couldn't gather in person. So we had to find a new way to engage. And this was the solution. And since then, we've had over 300 businesses featured on this platform, and we've reached over 375,000 eyes with this program. So thank you both for taking the time to help educate me and the listeners about Ideal Savings Program. And I always love to start this out with learning about the people's background and history that led them into these careers and industries. So why don't we start with you, Marilyn, as newly appointed Executive Director for Ideal. Bring me up to speed on your background, history of work, and what led you into this industry.
Well, first, thanks, Paul. We really appreciate the opportunity to just have a few minutes with other chamber members to talk about the Ideal program. So I am new to Ideal. I just started in January as the executive director, but I have been in the education arena most of my professional life. I was a teacher once upon a time, very early in my career. I then went into the private sector and worked several years for Micron and also for the contractor who manages Idaho National Laboratory. And then I started my career in state government with the Office of the State Board of Education, and I did communications and legislative affairs for them. And after a few years there, I went to work for Governor Otter and was with him for his four-year third term as his education policy advisor. And when his term ended, I went to work for our Superintendent of Public Instruction, Sherry Ibarra, and was one of her deputies until I joined Ideal in January of 2023.
Wow. Rich history in the state and education. Wow, you're a perfect person for this new role. Nick, help me understand a little bit about your background and what your job role is as field representative.
Great. So my background maybe isn't quite as extensive as Marilyn's is. So my name is Nick Theros. I'm the field representative for the Ideal plan. So just quick kind of background on me. I am a CPA, so I still hold my CPA license. I used to work in that world in public accounting, so I did taxes for about 4 busy seasons. This time of year, I'm really happy that I don't do taxes right now because it's a crazy time of year for our tax accountants out there. And then I jumped over to the Ideal plan about 8 years ago. It will be 8 years in August, which is crazy to think that I've been here for that long. And really, my main job with the company is working with employers, which is obviously very, very relevant with what we're talking about here today. So really kind of going out, talking with employers all over the state, talking about how they can roll the plan out as a voluntary benefit. We'll get into it a little bit later on, kind of some of the benefits of the employer plan. But really, I'm here to just educate Idaho families in general about what the five plan is.
Awesome, Nick.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with you, Marilyn. Let's start with a 30,000-foot view. What is Ideal? And then I think there's something exciting about the length of the organization as well, and we'll talk about that. But give me the 30,000-foot view.
Ideal is Idaho's state-sponsored 529 education savings program. It was created in the year 2000 by the Idaho legislature, so it is in Idaho code. And the first accounts were opened in 2001. And in a nutshell, the Idaho 529 program enables people to set aside money to pursue education opportunities, either for their loved ones, so children their grandchildren, nieces and nephews, or for themselves. And we did celebrate 20 years of the program in 2021. And we did that by recognizing all the individuals who got the program off the ground and watched it grow over the years. And what I can tell you is that in the first 20 years, IDEAL helped more than 60,000 families save for education. The program is overseen by the State College Savings Program Board, and that consists of 6 of our 7 constitutional officers or their designees. And those 6 are the governor, the state treasurer, the secretary of state, the superintendent of public instruction, the state controller, and the attorney general. And the board is currently chaired by Treasurer Julie Ellsworth.
Awesome. Wow. This is one of those best kept secrets that we don't need to keep secret anymore.
Exactly. Preaching to the choir here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, Nick, tell us maybe some of the top reasons to invest in this 529.
Yeah, so we kind of wrote down a list of a few different things. First, one thing about the IDEAL plan is it's very easy. That's the first thing I want to let people know. It's very, very simple. The plan allows you to save on your own schedule. So you could put money in once a year. You could put money in once a month. There's no, monthly minimums or anything like that. You can put money in once every 3 years. So once you kind of get your accounts open, it's really up to you how and when you want to put your funds in your account. We have some options for people to automatically invest money, right? They can do it through their paycheck. They can set up money from their bank account, things like that. So like automatically put funds in, but it really is really simple. IDEAL is very flexible. You can do a lot of different things with your 529 plan. One of the big ones, you can use it anywhere in the country. So probably the biggest myth of the plan that I hear a lot is people think it has to be used at an Idaho institution, but it actually can be used anywhere across the country. And that's for a bunch of different programs. That could be for trade schools and 2-year schools and 4-year universities. You could actually use it for K through 12 tuition. So if your kid's like in a private school, you can use it for K through 12 tuition. So that's a big one. Also with that kind of flexibility piece of it is the different things you can use it once you pick a qualified institution. So most people think, I get a lot of people think it's only for tuition and books. I get that a lot. But you can use it for a lot of different things. You can use it for room and board on and off campus. You can use it for anything technology related. So you can buy laptops and internet and all that type of stuff. So a lot of different flexible things you can use your 529 for. You can use it to repay qualified student loans. There's a lifetime limit of $10,000 per person that you can use that for. Registered apprenticeship programs. So a lot of different things you can use the funds for. So, and then lastly, setting up the account is really simple to do. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to get your account started. $25 initial deposit in to kind of get it going. And then after that, we have an app that goes along with our account. So we rolled the app out about a year and a half ago now. And we're really excited about it. So once you get your account started, you can't actually open your account yet right now on the app, but it's coming here in the next few months. You can actually with that functionality. But after you open your account, you can do everything else on it, your balances and all that stuff. So kind of the big takeaways, simple to do, very flexible, kind of across the board. And then lastly, there's some great tax benefits. That's probably one of the biggest pieces, right? So Idaho taxpayers that contribute to the plan get a state tax deduction for their contributions going into the plan, up to $12,000 if they're married filing joint, up to $6,000 if they're a single filer. So if somebody had $1,000 and they put it in their kid's 529, they could deduct that $1,000 directly off their Idaho state taxes. Money grows in the account tax deferred. And then at the end, if you use it for a qualified expense, all that's going to come out federal and state tax free on the back side. So those are probably some of the highlights, right? Simple, easy to do, flexible, and you get some great tax benefits along the way.
Well, Nick, thanks for shining the light there. Maybe Marilyn, you'd like to add on kind of how does IDEAL work, right? We talked about the top 10 reasons why, and let us know, dive a little bit deeper in how it works.
Will do, and I'll let Nick add to this as well. Like Nick said, it's really easy, and we've been really focused on how can we make it as easy for people as possible. Sometimes people are a little intimidated by investment programs, and so we try to really break it down for people and give them the information they need. Our website is great. It's really easy to navigate. The information that people need is there. So idsaves.org just has that in-depth information people need. And of course, Nick and I are always available to talk to people. Nick does presentations to individuals, to business groups, to all over the state, to anybody who wants to learn more about the program. And so we're always there to help and to provide what support we can. And again, we do think it's pretty easy to do, and we hear that feedback from people as well. One thing I do want to mention, because it's tax time, is that we know that some people have Idaho 529 accounts, but don't take that tax deduction. So if you're out there and you have in the past year contributed to an Idaho 529 account, don't forget to claim that deduction on your taxes. And we also, I just want to mention, we encourage account owners to contribute as early as possible. So if your kids or grandkids are young, start early, because that means that money has more time to grow year after year, and there's going to be more available for them when they get to the point that they're going to use it. And I'll let Nick add on, but really anyone over the age of 18 can open an Ideal account.
Okay.
Yeah, Paul, you asked the question how it works, and so I kind of wanted to look at it from a very practical point of view, right? And that's basically coming from the end user. So if you're watching this and you're thinking about opening an account, how does the actual practical piece work? So you go to the website, just like Marilyn talked about, idsaves.org. You're going to log in, or you're going to go in the upper right hand corner, a little blue button. There's the website right there. It says enroll now. You're going to get your account started. You can open the account. You'll be the account owner. The adult, needs to be 18 years or older, has to be the account owner, and then you'll name your beneficiary. That beneficiary could be a lot of different people. It could be yourself as the adult. We have adults use it to go back and finish degrees or start degrees or things like that. Most people are using it to save for kids or grandkids. So anybody can be your beneficiary in the account. And then after that, once the account's open, we talked about funding the accounts. There's a lot of different ways to put money in and do that type of stuff. You'll choose your investments, which I think we'll get into here in a little bit on the investment side of things. And then after that, the account's open. It's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes to do it. We can help with the process. So again, just like Marilyn said, but it's a very, very simple process. Once you jump on the website, you just kind of follow the on-screen prompts, and it's pretty simple.
Well, during the legislative session, there's been lots of discussion on how we fund education. And here is a great example of how you yourself and businesses can fund education for their families and, again, their children. I think this is great. And the more we can share how easy it is, and it's like, I think you said this, Nick, before we went live, it doesn't matter if it's $30 now or if you want to do it weekly, or if you want to do it, let's say you get a bonus and you want to put some money towards that. I think that's really important to recognize. Continuing on, I want to know a little bit more about the different types of investment options that are available. So maybe we can start with you, Marilyn, and help educate me a little bit more.
Sure. I'll let Nick get into the more details about the 3 investment options. But one thing I do want to make sure your audience knows is that the program doesn't give investment advice. We give you the options and the information, and then the investment decisions are up to each account owner. I will say, for those who've been in the plan for a while, that the options did change about a year and a half ago. And there are 3 options to choose from. So I'll kick it to Nick and let him talk about those.
Great. Thanks, Marilyn. I appreciate it. First, I will say that we have a great tab on our website that has everything you need to know about our investment options. So obviously here we only have about 3 to 4 minutes. We can do a whole hour just on the investing side. So check out the website. It does a really, really good job of explaining our investment options. But we basically have 3 main overall options when investing with the Ideal Plan. Anything in the market, we use Vanguard as our investment company. So they're our investment manager. And the first one is our target enrollment portfolio, So it's our target enrollment portfolio. So we call these our set it and forget it options, or automatic options for families. If you're familiar with that target, so if you're familiar with like a target date fund in your 401k, this is going to be very similar. So basically we're asking the question, when do you think you're going to need to use the money? Right. So it could be when your kid graduates. For most people, it's going to be when their kid graduates. So it could be my kid's going to graduate in 2034. Right. So you put it in that 2034 portfolio. And then every 2 to 3 years, Vanguard kind of does the investing on the backside. Younger they are, more aggressive the accounts are. closer they get to that college age, the more conservative those accounts are automatically going to become. So that's kind of our set it and forget it option, our target enrollment portfolios. And then we have our second option, which is our fixed asset options. And those are you doing the investing on your own. Okay, so you have our portfolios out there and you can mix and match, I want 50% this one, 30%, 20%. You build your own portfolio and then it's not going to change for you, right? You're the one that has to go in and make those changes. So that might be for somebody who's just, comfortable with doing the investing or just wants to do it on their own. We give people that option as well. And then the last option is just a FDIC insured high yield savings account. Right, it's managed by Sallie Mae, so they're the ones that manage that piece of it. Great option for families who just maybe aren't comfortable with their money in the market or just don't feel comfortable with it. They just have that FDIC insured high yield savings account with the program. So those are kind of our three main overall options: are set it, forget it. You can do it on your own, and then we even have that FDIC insured high yield savings account.
And Marilyn, is there anything you want to add to what Nick has said?
No, just please go to the website because there is great information there, and then if you want more information, just you can contact one of us.
Yeah.
So as we close our conversation here, where do we find you in the community? Tell us a little bit about the partnerships that you've had over the years, and help us understand and share some of the success stories.
Yeah, great. So I can start this one off. So you'll find me mostly in the employer sector, right? So really what I do with most of my time. And so we have a great employer program, and there's kind of two steps to it. So one is a free voluntary benefit that an employer can offer. It allows employees to direct deposit money from their paychecks into their 529 college savings programs. It's very, very simple to administer. We run everything on the backside, so the administrative task of the HR person or the benefits person is very, very minimal, and it's free to offer. So I always say it's a great way to enhance your benefit package and not have to pay to do it. Yeah, we have right around 320 employers across the state of Idaho that use that as an option right now. And then our second option, basically in March of 2020, we passed a law that allowed employers to take a tax credit for employers to actually contribute funds into employees' accounts. There's a lot that kind of goes into that. So if anybody wants to touch base with me offline, I'd be more than happy to talk to them about that. But an employer can actually get a credit for contributing funds into employees' accounts. There's a lot of different ways they can do that. It's been very successful. We have about 14 employers in 2022 that contributed funds into their employees' account. So anybody that has questions about the employer program, please reach out. I'd be more than happy to chat a little further.
And then Marilyn, maybe you can help share some success stories.
Absolutely. So in the community, we partner with all kinds of state agencies across the state. We're also a founding PBS Kids sponsor for Idaho Public Television. We've been working with the Idaho Financial Literacy Coalition for many years. And just this legislative session, there was a requirement passed for a financial literacy course for our students in our public schools, which that's been in the works for a long time. And so we're excited about that. In fact, next week, the governor will proclaim April Financial Literacy Month. We work with, and Nick works with a host of associations across the state, the Idaho Financial Planners Association, the CPAs, we work with the Association for the Education of Young Children, the Idaho Out of School Network, and we do a lot of contests and sponsorships that encourage kids to be creative and to enter either a writing contest or a poetry contest. We have a calendar contest that we sponsor through the Idaho Housing and Finance Association. And the award for those contests is that we either add to or help them start an Idaho 529 account. And so we do that with a lot of different partners. And we just started a partnership with the Wasmuth Human Rights Center to sponsor their art and poetry contest, which is going on right now. So if you have kids who are great at art and poetry, or even if they're not, have them enter because that's coming up on May the 4th. And I will say I got connected to them at a chamber event. So we, yes, we appreciate that very much. And of course, we partner with our higher ed institutions, and we're all about education. So you will find us in any arena where we're talking about education.
Well, I remember seeing Christina Stoll delivering a check to a student at the Boise Hawks game last year. And I thought that was really cool. And that's what really kind of helped me understand a little bit more about what Ideal is. And it was tangible evidence of the work. And I really love that. Nick and Marilyn, thank you so much for taking a bit of your afternoon on this Friday to help me share a little bit more about what Ideal Savings Program is. I learned a lot today, and I know our listeners did as well. Thank you for your membership in the community through the Chamber investment, and I look forward to our next conversation.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Have a great weekend.